guidance counselors around the country have echoed the same advice for decades. If you want a good job, you need to go to college. Students of all inclinations and ambition levels have had this pounded into their heads over and over again. This massive oversupply of fresh tuition payers, students, have caused colleges to simultaneously compete for customers and inflate their expenses. Budgets soar as massive bureaucracies and campus beautification projects crowd out actual academic achievements. At the same time, businesses continue to demand a college credential as the best proxy to select capable, responsible employees, even if they plan on completely retraining that employee for their specific job. Costs rise, tuition prices rise, demand is compelled to stay high. All this forces people into the university system. Is this the best way to train our young people for their future? Let's investigate how we got here. I like steak. It's probably my favorite food. I would probably eat it multiple times a week if I could. But when it's $25 a pound, I won't buy it. The price has risen enough where I will experience demand destruction, and I will seek alternatives that offer a better value. This is how markets should operate. With college education, we see prices rise. We should see demand for the education product lower. But since, as a society, we have put such a value on a college degree, we do everything we can to ignore that price signal. Instead, we throw lots of money in the form of student loans to distort the market response to rising education prices. As a result, we see that rising prices in education just compound themselves as more and more money and debt flow in, distorting the demand response. We see this especially in the private education markets. Instead of questioning the value proposition of this product, we clamor to throw more and more money, aka debt, at the problem because we have convinced ourselves that we cannot have a good future without a college credential. Over time, we see how this distortion pays off. We have more student debt than ever. How long can education prices rise at a 50% faster rate than salaries for college graduates before things get out of control? This debt is crowding out other life decisions, like starting a family or buying a house. This student debt problem is distorting more markets than just education pricing. So what can we do about this? The real solution would involve fixing the market distortions caused by credential demand from employers and the perverse nature of debt financing that drives tuition costs up. But don't count on our government to jump in and do anything about this anytime soon. The higher education lobby gives $80 to $100 million a year to politicians to make sure the system that allows them to drive up prices without demand destruction keeps perpetuating itself. Remember the free community college provision in the Build Back Better plan? Guess who got that shit can to reduce competition? Unfortunately for folks who have been hurt by this system, no help will come from them until they can match the big money clout of the education lobby. For the rest of us, the best plan is to avoid the debt trap altogether. We can do this with planning and intelligent decision making. I modeled various student debt levels to come up with a standard and extended payment plan for the loan requirements. I then inserted this debt payment into a proper budget to determine what income levels could support these payments without messing up life, enjoyment, and peace of mind. You can check out the full report for free at the Put Spread Guy at Substack.com. So the punchline of the model is, if you had a total student debt of $36,000, you would need an annual salary between $23,000 and $30,000 that would allow you to manage that amount of debt. If you had a salary below $12,000, you would not even be able to pay the interest on your student loans that would cause them to balloon and grow forever. On the more extreme level, if you had a total student debt level of $200,000, you would need an annual salary between $127,000 and $169,000 per year to manage that debt. If you didn't have a salary over $66,700 a year, you would not be able to pay even the interest on that loan. Again, falling into a debt spiral that would continue to grow and dominate your financial life for as long as you live. As we look at degree programs and their corresponding salaries that they can generate, you will get a deeper picture of how much debt you can practically take on and still have incord towards the necessities and even fun. What good is it to be in your 20s and be chained to overwhelming debt without having any fun? As you can see, most technical fields have a starting salary in the $50,000 to $60,000 range. Most liberal arts-based fields have starting salaries in the $30,000 to $45,000 range. Over time, most careers build their earning potential to $50,000 to $100,000 range, but that would be with many years of experience. If you plan on paying off student loans on the standard schedule of 10 years, you should plan to cover the payment with 15% of your starting salary and let any increases flow into other more fulfilling aspects of your life. Okay, you say, we did the math, and the debt we need to take on for the degree we want is larger than the debt I think my future career can handle. How do we bridge this gap? You should be aware if your parents have had college savings plan for you, and that total should be subtracted from the planned debt you could take on for your education. But did you also know that grandparents, aunts, uncles, and even cousins can transfer unused 529 funds to your account with no tax penalties? It may be worth a conversation if your family members have unused funds stuck in these accounts. Most of the time, the outrageous tuition and fees that will throw off your debt calculations are coming from a private school. You may have your heart set on a private program, but is it worth jacking up the rest of your financial life? State schools most likely offer a better value and teach the same thing as the fancy schools, even if they have less ivy on their walls. Can you skip a year or two, work full-time, get experience in the real world, and then start school a bit wiser without taking on so much debt and not needing a fake ID for your freshman year? Can you find a job that has a tuition program and work while you go to school? Many companies need good workers and offer tuition reimbursement as a benefit. Again, gain some real-world experience and get your tuition paid by somebody else. Most degree programs have core classes that are offered at the community college level. Many times, those credits will transfer, and they will cost you 70 to 90% less than Fancy Pants U. Do you even need a degree for what you want to do? Computer programming, art, sales, all of these jobs are targets of a degree program, and nearly all of the skills you need will be learned on the job. Can you get an apprenticeship or on-the-job training someplace? Is there a certificate program that is cheaper than a 4-year degree, like Google or Pluralsight offer for a lot of computer programming skills? One last thought. Many people who struggle with student debt are those who do not graduate. They rack up loans, but they don't have the degree to support the higher-paying career they were hoping for. It is important to be sure that college is right for you. Over 60% of the people in the USA do not have a college degree. Not everyone goes to college, and that is not a bad thing. If you're not sure, maybe try out some classes at a community college to get a feel for it. Another great option is to stack your skills. Trade schools and apprenticeships are a great way to train for a good career. Once you are established, you can always go to school without taking on massive debt. An engineer who can weld or run a CNC machining center is a better engineer. The point is, you have many options for a good life if you know where to look. please be smart with your future and think ahead about debt before it is too late. Thanks for tuning in to the Put Spread Guy. Please like, subscribe, and comment so you can get all of our updates and all of our weekly reports. You can also get our weekly reports at theputspreadguy@substack.com. Have a great day.